Hello, Kingston, Keegan, Dill, Sprunger clan. It's Papa K here, and I am making my first recipe. I've mentioned to you that I'm going to be recording, making Grammy's recipes. I'll be posting them on YouTube so everybody can see them. Future generations will be able to make Grammy's recipes, and the great thing about it is that I will help them go through the progression of figuring out how to take it from a recipe to actually make it and continue to improve on it. So how I'm going to start is, since I'm a novice at filming this and putting it on YouTube, I haven't figured out how to pause yet. It just starts a brand new video. So I'm going to go through it to the end, and then I'm going to add on after I'm done, after everything's all said and done with whatever the recipe is. I'm going to come back and do an add-on video of results, how it turned out, and then add a few maybe ideas on how you can make it better the next time, and then you're on your own. So without further ado, we're going to get started with chocolate butterscotch Scotcheroos. I'm going to be doing Christmas cookies, but the reason why I'm starting with this is Grace has asked for them for Thanksgiving, and since she's about to pop any day now, I figure I'll make whatever she asks for. So here we go. So first thing we do always is wash our hands, and we do this multiple times throughout the process. I don't have any good soap, so I'll use Dawn. Good enough to get oil off of animals, good enough to clean my hands. But some people that I've worked at restaurants with prefer rubber gloves, and that's fine. The deal with rubber gloves is, just like with your hands, every time you touch something new, you cross-contaminate. So you finish with something, you're cutting a piece of chicken, you put it down, and then you grab a knife. Now that knife's been contaminated by the glove, and then you pick up a piece of bread, and now that bread, and so every time you move from from food to food or utensil to utensil, that glove is transferring. So I like to just wash my hands a lot and repeat the process as needed. So the first step here is to cook the corn syrup and white sugar or granulated sugar. Same thing. Now what I like to do is, so I'll always start with the stickiest ingredient, and here it calls for a cup of corn syrup, and so I've got light corn syrup here and my measuring cup, and I've used this before so I don't know why it's not open, but so I'm going to pour out a cup here, and the reason why I like to use the stickiest, oh boy, I hope I have enough. Yeah, I'm just gonna have just enough. Oh, I'm gonna be a little short. This is my second attempt at making these, so I'll be right around there. It's fine. I mean, that's the thing you find out about recipes. There's nuance, right? And so, it's maybe just a hair short of a cup. I'm going to start pouring that in there and leave the bottle pouring. But now my second ingredient is granulated sugar, and the reason why I go in this order is, and before I start that, one of the things I forgot to mention, make sure you read through your recipe start to finish and all the ingredients before you get started, which I've done here, because sometimes things have to go in order, and if you don't go in order, it could alter the recipe. So we'll continue to let this drain, and then I'll show you why I then go to something like granulated sugar. And the reason why is that all that sticky stuff is left in the recipes in the cup, so if I add this sugar actually eats it up and allows it to be transferred to the pot. A little short here, and again, a little bit here or there isn't going to really make a difference. So I pour that in, and I use my spatula. Oops. Well, if the pugs were here, they would have just been all over it. I'd have had to pick that up real quick, or they'd have been on a sugar high all over the floor. Scarlett could care less. She's just laying on the ground over there. So anyways, you see I can get out all the rest of that stuff, right? I hope you can see it with the camera there. So all of that can be taken out of there because I added in the sugar. And then I can go in here and mix this up. And we're going to get it started. The recipe calls, we're going to do that, to bring it to a boil. So we're going to mix it all up in here. Medium heat, so we're a little high. We're going to bring that down a little bit. Get it all mixed in there nicely. Make sure we leave it all in there. Let that boil. And while we're doing that, we're going to measure our Rice Krispies into the bowl. And it calls for 6 cups of Rice Krispies. Snap, crackle, pop. So this is a 2-cup measuring cup. So 3 times full. 1. 2. 3. Okay. So that's our Rice Krispies. We'll close that up. We've already measured out our chocolate. We're actually going to microwave that because I tried melted it on the oven last time and I burned it. So it adds no differential to the recipe whether it's microwaved or cooked over the oven. They just need melted chocolate and butterscotch. I'm going to turn this down here a little bit. I want it to boil, but it's kind of sticking to the sides here a little bit. And while I do that, I'm going to measure out my peanut butter. It calls for a cup of peanut butter. And again, I'm going to use the same cup because for the same effect. Continue to get all the ingredients actually in the pan. So I'll scoop it out with my spatula, stick it in there. Okay, check on my sauce here. You know, I want to bring it to a full boil because, you know, the purpose of a boil is to reduce and get out some of the water and excess liquid. So I want to see it boil right into the middle here. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. And as soon as it does, then I'm going to add the peanut butter. I will get rid of this. Garbage. And again, peanut butter is ultimately going in here, so it really doesn't matter if I mix my spatula in here with peanut butter on it. Ultimately, all the peanut butter will be in there. Okay, so we're going to remove it from heat, And we are going to add the peanut butter. Stirring it in here real good. You know, it'll continue to melt, make it easier to get out of here. Get it all in there. There we go. Yeah, get it all. But you gotta leave a little for the finger licking. Grandma Dorothy always did that. She was always she had the mixer that had the two spinners on it, and there'd be a bowl, a spoon, and two mixers, and everybody got something to lick clean. So I'm gonna keep this and lick that clean in a little bit. Alright, this is garbage. Clear that stuff out of the way. Then it says mix into Rice Krispies. So we will do this. Stir it all into the Rice Krispies. There we go. Yeah. It's going to be some good finger licking there later. So no matter how good you are, there's always a little left. So get this stirred in here real good. As you see, this spatula is very useful in many ways. When you're mixing sticky stuff, you really can't use like a whip or whisk in here because it just will all stick in it. So this allows you to kind of cut into it a little bit and make sure it gets fully mixed. Alright, looks like we're pretty well mixed here. I'm going to start the chips. We'll start with a minute, see where that takes us. Again, we don't... Okay, so, by the way, all these pots and pans I cleaned in advance, so they've all been cleaned. Now I need to butter this pan here, and I may have let the butter out a little too long. Maybe a little too sticky. I can probably spread that around. I'll use the spatula to do that. Trusty spatula. Really, you should be able to, I left the butter out a little too long. You should be able to just slide over the surface with it and leave enough butter on it to accomplish what you want. But this does the job too, as long as it tastes good at the end, right, Scarlett? Alright, let's see where we're at in a minute here with this chocolate and butterscotch. I would say another minute. So right now we're at 2 minutes, and we're going to start moving this into here.